Well, hey, it's time for part 2 of Lackadaisical Faith and how we can learn to live all in with God, getting out of that lackadaisical kind of lifestyle. And I think our culture just breeds that lifestyle, right? It breeds complacency in a lot of different things. We get lulled to sleep in a lot of different ways, and our faith walk is no different. Our faith walk, it's really easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we have things all together. But I believe that the reason that it's so tempting to live in a lackadaisical kind of lifestyle with our faith, it's because it requires us to live a life that is not self-centered. And that means that we have to dethrone ourselves, dethrone our own agenda. As we talked, I left you with a quote from Tony Evans, that we have to dethrone ourselves and put God on the throne, put His agenda on the throne. And that is really difficult sometimes because we often think, I'm speaking for myself, that I think I know better. But it's putting Christ at the center of it all. It's living a life that's surrendered to Him and His ways. It means that when we worship Him, that we are choosing to live a life that is not self-centered. But lackadaisical faith is so tempting because it allows us to put ourselves at the center of what is it that we want? What is our agenda? What are the things that we want to accomplish? But God in His Word in Revelation 3:16 tells us that if you are lukewarm, that you are neither hot nor cold for Him, that He's going to spit us out, right? If we're lukewarm, if we're living kind of on the edge of faith, that we're not on fire for Him, that we're not all in with Him, then He's going to spew us out of His mouth. And I don't know about you, but I don't want that to be me. I don't want to be spewed out. I don't want to live this life going, through this life thinking that I'm just doing enough to get by. And I'm just barely I've accepted you, Lord, and now I'm just going to try and live life on my own terms. And then at the end of life, get spewed out of His mouth because I have lived a lackadaisical life. No, I don't want to do that. And I don't want you to do that either. I want us to live on fire for Him. We talked on Monday that this verse, Psalm 34:10, says that the young lion suffers want and hunger, but those who seek the Lord lack no good thing. The Lord is not going to withhold good things from us. And so often I think that we live our life in a way that if we say yes to Him and we go all in for Him, that we're going to miss out on something, that we're missing out. But He's telling us in His Word that we will lack no good thing. But the question is, will we trust Him with that? Will we trust Him and believe Him and really dig in? Are we going to live half-hearted in our commitment and believe that He's withholding something from us, or that if we go all in with Him that we're going to miss out? I believe that when we go all in with Him, we are going to be so blessed. But it's, again, this question of, are you going to say yes to the cost? The cost is that we don't live self-centered lives anymore, that we live God-centered lives, and trust that if we're willing to give up and go to a deeper relationship with Him, that He will certainly show up and carry us through the challenges of life. So here's our application today. I want to ask you a series of questions. And I'm going to create some space for you to think about these things. So often we're just running rampant through our lives and we don't take time to reflect. So here are some questions for you. What are your current commitments? What are the things that you are committed to in your life? It could be clubs, it could be organizations, it could be work, it could be family, it could be you're committed to the TV and Netflix, it could be that you're committed to being a part of a small group or a book study or a book club. What are the things that you're committed to? If you looked at your agenda and your calendar, what fills your time? What are those commitments? And of those commitments that you have in your life, where does God fit in? Where does God fit in? And I'm going to take that a step further as well and ask you this question. Of those commitments to God and prioritizing Him, or just the other things that fill your calendar, where are you living lackadaisical? Where are you living half-hearted in your commitments? I know that for me, that there are things that I have on my calendar that I don't really show up giving 100%. I don't really show up all in to those commitments. I show up just giving portion of myself, and that to me is a sign that I have overcommitted. I've given myself to too many things, and I'm not really prioritizing the things that I can give myself to, that I want to give myself to, that I'm passionate about. And so maybe there's some things that we need to take a step back and say, perhaps I need to let this go. Perhaps this isn't the season for that I'm trying to do too many things, but it's really my family that needs my focus and my energy right now. And so I'm gonna have to say no to a couple of different things in my life. Saying no is one of the best things that we can do for our lives, and saying no is actually one of those things that's going to move us from a place of complacency, a place of lackadaisy, to a place of being more intentional, being more fired up, being more focused in our lives. So I challenge you that you will no longer live half-hearted in your commitments. I challenge you to look at your schedule, to look at your calendar, the things that are filling your days, your commitments, and say, are any of these things that I need to get rid of? And then I want to ask you, are there any areas of your life where you're doing things that are competing with your values? Example, you say, I really value family time. That's an amazing value to have. But does your schedule and your calendar, your commitments reflect that value? It takes the first step is really knowing what you value, what is your highest priorities for your life. And then if your calendar, your schedule doesn't reflect those values, then that creates dissonance in your life. That creates feelings of frustration, and then it leads us to live mediocre lives because we're not able to focus our time, our energy on the things that really matter to us. So again, I'm challenging you, take a step back. Today, look at your schedule, look at your agenda. Where are those areas of dissonance? Where are you spending time in your life that are on things that are not in alignment? Maybe even your work. You're doing a job today that is not in alignment with your values. And maybe you've been too afraid to look for something new or different because you just need a job, right? You're fearful of letting go of this job because it's not in alignment. But it's not in alignment but you're more fearful of letting go of that job. Well, I'm telling you that you're going to continue to live frustrated and mediocre and lackadaisical, that you're not able to give 100% of yourself to this job that isn't in alignment with your values because you know intuitively that it's not. But maybe it's time to step out. Maybe it's time to begin to pray that God would open up a new opportunity that would be in alignment with your values and would allow you to prioritize Him above all things. What needs to shift? Whatever your highest priorities have been, what do you need to stop doing today? That's one of the best gifts that we can give to ourselves, is answering these questions, creating space, creating time. If you need to pause and this episode, go back. I encourage you to journal out these questions. Don't forget to download this week's handout, which also has some of these questions listed out for you. The handout link is listed in the comments of or the description of this episode, so don't forget to download that as well. And I challenge you and encourage you to take time so that you can stop living a lackadaisical life, a lackadaisical faith. Instead, get full of purpose, get full of living based on your value set, and know that putting God first, when we seek Him, we will lack no good thing in our lives. Seek Him first. Be blessed, be well, and I can't wait to get back together with you on Friday and pray over these things. Pray over reprioritizing our lives. Be blessed, be well. Talk to you soon.